Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the muscle contraction and the metabolism. So let's understand about first of all the anatomy and physiology. So this is the person which that contain a muscle. So the bulging bicep we will understand. The basically the muscle attached with the bone is known as the tendon. Tendon is hard part of the muscle, so inelastic, while the muscle is elastic. This muscle contain a nerve fibers and the fascicles. These fascicles surrounded by epimysium. The myoglobin are present in the fascicle as oxygen stored protein. The blood circulatory system is important for the nourishment of the muscle. So that is why the blood circulatory system which that provide the oxygen surrounded by a fascicle and in the form of capillary vein the muscle fiber. This is the perineurium surrounded by the basically the muscle fiber. So surrounded by the muscle fiber, and inside the muscle fibers contain myofibril. This myofibril is the basic cell which that contain a sarcoplasmic reticulum and mitochondria for providing the energy, and this is the actin and myosin filament which that myofibril contain many sarcomeres is the contractile unit. So the anabolic hormone like growth hormone and the testosterone which that will enhance the myofibril, and this actin and myosin filament, thick and thin filament, is important for the contraction of muscle through sarcomere. We will discuss later in this video. An action potential arrives at neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction is the junction between the muscle myofibril, a muscle cell, and the neuron, the motor neuron. This is the bigger picture to understand now. The basically acetylcholine is the major motor neuron containing the nerve ending where the neuromuscular junction is occur, which that is the presynaptic neuron, while the postsynaptic muscle effector which that give the response. So this acetylcholine when released due to the depolarization from the nerve impulse, the sodium will move inside to depolarization of the muscle cell will lead to T-tubule formation. This T-tubule to enter the depolarization to calcium move inside through low calcium channel via RYR. So in this way the calcium which that stored in the sarcoplasmic reticulum will move into the cytoplasm. So now the cytoplasms contain more calcium, and in this way the calcium which that is released from the calcium channel, and in this way the calcium will bind with the troponin, will lead to actin bind with the myosin filament, lead to contract, and thick and thin filament interaction lead to muscle contraction. And in this the muscle contraction basically first is attached, and in this way the muscle will contract due to the calcium. If the deficiency of the calcium will lead to cause muscle cramp and the tremor as well as the dysfunction of the muscle contraction. The muscle short and produces tension, and in this way releasing is the calcium resorbed beginning relaxation cycle, and calcium move into the sarcoplasmic reticulum again, and ATP is required. That is why ATP is used for the detachment. Whenever you will die, the rigor mortis will occur. In this way the ATP will not produce too much. In this way the slowly after the death the basically contraction and relaxation will stop. So that is why this is known as the rigor mortis. Let's understand about the sliding filament model. So the sliding filament model contain a sarcomere. We are drawing the one sarcomere to understand the contraction and relaxation. During the relaxation, the myosin here and M line here is the horizon, and this horizon will be more wider as compared to the contraction, and in this way the Z to Z line is the Z disc, Z to Z line is the one sarcomere. Actin is here and troponin is here. Tropomyosin will important for the binding of the calcium, while the actin and myosin bridge formation will lead to contract. In this way, the relaxation to contraction will occur, and after the contraction, the cross bridge will occur, will lead to release the calcium again to relaxation. In this way, the ATP will use to it move, relax, and contract again antagonistically. And in this way, the H zone which that decrease, and in this way, the shorten the sarcomere, and in this way, the Z to Z line will short. The increased number of sarcomere due to the testosterone synthetic or natural body production, which that will lead to increase the sarcomere. In this way, the myofibril will increase. In this way, the muscle fibers will increase. In this way, basically the whole muscle will develop. ATP sources. So let's understand about what is the sources of ATP. The creatine phosphate is in the form of creatine will store the phosphate group for providing the energy. So phosphate when detached to provide the energy, it can be transferred to the ADP to convert ATP. While anaerobic glycolysis, fermentation to lactic acid production, and aerobic respiration, all these things will provide ATP. Blood glucose and muscle glycogen will deplete and produce glucose to pyruvate in the form of absence of oxygen will lead to lactic acid fermentation, while the aerobic respiration to provide more ATP, heat, carbon dioxide, and water due to the using of oxygen, and the pyruvate and fatty acid will use aerobically in the mitochondria for providing the ATP more in the muscle. Let's understand about the muscle metabolism. Some ATP is stored in resting muscle. As contraction start, it is used up in seconds. So like ATP. But remember that things, the creatine phosphate produces energy in 15 seconds. So the initial phase required the ATP from the aerobic respiration. That is why the aerobic respiration is important for the muscle contraction, while the glycolysis and on the other hand the creatine phosphate will later on use. Here is the blood circulatory system contain glucose. Whenever the glucose will enter into the blood from blood to the muscle cell through GLUT channel via insulin binding with the muscle cell lead to facilitate diffusion. And in this way, the slow twitch muscle we will understand the muscle metabolism, and intermediate as well as fast twitch muscle and how it develop. Let's understand about that things. This is the glycogen. All cells contain glycogen of the muscle cell. Basically, the glycogen will glycogenolysis to produce glucose, even while the glucose will also enter from the blood, which that convert into the glycolysis to produce pyruvate, and this process is the anaerobic to produce ATP for contract and relaxation of the muscle, while the pyruvate in the presence of the oxygen, the mitochondria used to produce more ATP, 36 to 38 ATP, energy for muscle. In this way, the creatine phosphate also get the phosphate group from the creatine from the ATP to convert this creatine phosphate, and this will provide the ATP later on. So that is why the creatine as a supplementation is enhancing process for the muscle contraction and relaxation and the muscle mass increase. The intermediate muscle is glycogen deplete, while the anaerobic can be or not, and glucose basically on the basis of requirement. So in this way, the pyruvate will be produced to same mechanism, but the hypoxia will occur in the cell rapidly, and anaerobic respiration to produce lactic acid. Accumulation of lactic acid lead to lactic acidosis to cause fatigue of the muscle. While the slow movement of the muscle walking is the sign of the slow twitch muscle development, while the marathon runner which that develop the intermediate muscle, while the fast twitch muscle due to the sprinter are running fast running but some less time will lead to glycogen depletion and their muscle will be shortened. In this way, the fatigue will occur also, lactic acid production due to the less oxygen availability, and anaerobic respiration will increase, and the contraction will lead to aerobic decrease. In this way, the hypoxia will occur. In this way, the muscle fatigue chances for the fast twitch muscle is more. Sprinter for minute to hour to produce lactic acid accumulation. And in this way, the fast twitch muscle for runner, slow twitch muscle for slow movement of the muscle. I hope you make sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. For this time, bye.